I used to believe that the worst kind of fear was the fear of the unknown. But I was wrong. The worst fear is realizing the thing you thought was human was never human at all. I learned that the night my neighbor began staring into my bedroom window. I live alone. 2-story house, quiet street, a place where nothing ever happens. Or at least, that's what I used to tell myself. The kind of neighborhood where people wave politely but never talk for more than a minute. Where everyone minds their business, keeps their doors locked, and pretends nothing bad could ever happen here. I moved in during early spring. My neighbor, the one right across from me, didn't say much. Tall, pale man, thin, almost sickly. Hair too black to be natural. He wore the same outfit every day, a long gray coat, boots and a scarf, even in warm weather. He didn't smile, didn't wave, didn't blink much either. The first time I saw him, he was standing at the edge of his yard staring at my house. Not at me, at my window, my bedroom window on the second floor. He didn't look away when I noticed him. He didn't move. He didn't react at all. I tried to tell myself he was just weird, a harmless eccentric. Everyone knows at least one strange neighbor, right? I wish that were the truth. The first night it happened, I woke up around 2:30 a.m. with a feeling. Not a sound, not a nightmare, just a feeling that someone was watching me. I rubbed my eyes, sat up in bed, and for a moment thought I'd imagined it. Then I glanced at the window, and I froze. He was standing there, in the yard, facing my house, his head tilted upward, staring directly at my bedroom window. His body was completely still, but something about his posture felt wrong. Too straight, too stiff, like he wasn't using muscles but holding himself in place. His eyes didn't reflect the porch light. They were just empty. I stood there, breath caught in my throat, unable to move. At first I thought maybe he couldn't see me through the blinds, but then his head slowly tilted, reading my small movements, tracking me even though I hadn't turned on a light. He saw me. He knew I was awake, and he didn't look away. I backed away from the window and sat on the floor, heart pounding so loud I swore he could hear it. I waited for him to move, to leave, to do something, but he didn't. He stood there motionless until dawn. When sunlight finally touched the street, he turned around and walked back inside his house, like nothing had happened. I tried calling the police, but what was I supposed to say? My neighbor is staring at my house. That isn't illegal. It isn't even enough to get a patrol car sent out. They told me to avoid contact and let them know if he trespasses. He didn't trespass. Not yet. The next night, he was there earlier, 1 a.m. Same position, same expressionless face, same horrible, rigid stillness, staring directly at my window. This time, I closed the blinds immediately. But blinds don't stop fear, and they don't stop him either. Night after night he appeared. 1:42 a.m., 12:58, and 3:16 a.m. There was no pattern, no timing, no reason, but every single night he stood there staring, sometimes for hours, sometimes just long enough for me to notice him. One night, I gathered the courage to peek through the blinds. He was closer, not in the yard this time. He was standing at the edge of my driveway, staring up, directly into my window. His coat swayed slightly even though there was no breeze. His arms hung unnaturally long at his sides, fingers too thin, too pointed. I stepped away from the blinds. He shifted. Not his body, just his head. It snapped toward the exact spot I had moved to. I fell back in fear. He knew. He could sense my position, even through the walls. Something wasn't right. Something wasn't human. The next day, I finally tried knocking on his door. Maybe confronting him would make this stop. Maybe he'd back off. Maybe he'd explain. No answer. I knocked again. Nothing. I looked through the window. The house was empty. No furniture, no lights. The walls were stripped bare. No signs of life. Dust everywhere. It looked like it had been abandoned for years. My stomach dropped. I hurried to the next house over and asked an older woman watering her plants how long the neighbor had lived there. She frowned. "Sweetheart, nobody lives there," I insisted. I described him. His coat, his face, his staring. Her face went pale. "Someone used to live there," she whispered. "A man named Daryl. He died 6 years ago. Found him standing in the yard. They said he'd been dead for days before anyone noticed. Just standing there." I felt sick. "Standing where?" She hesitated and pointed. "To your bedroom window." I went home shaking. That night, I didn't sleep. I sat in my living room with every light on, trying to convince myself the old woman was wrong, mistaken, confused. But at 3:12 a.m., a tap hit the window. Not the bedroom window, not the yard. The living room window, at eye level, right beside me. I turned slowly. He was inches away, face pressed against the glass, eyes wide, mouth stretched into a thin, impossibly long smile. His hand was raised, fingers tapping lightly. Tap, tap, tap. Then he mouthed something, 2 words. I moved. I screamed, stumbled back, grabbed my phone, but my hands were shaking so violently I couldn't dial. I crashed into the hallway, heart slamming so hard I couldn't breathe. He didn't break the window. He didn't try to come in. He didn't need to, because within seconds I heard the creaking. Not from the window, not from outside, from upstairs. Slow, heavy footsteps crossing my bedroom floor. I froze. My phone slipped from my hand. The footsteps moved toward the stairs. Slow, deliberate, unhurried. I backed into the corner of the hallway, trembling so hard my teeth chattered. The house was silent except for those footsteps, growing louder, closer. Then they stopped, right at the top of the stairs. For a moment, there was nothing. No movement. No breathing. Just silence. Until a voice, his voice, echoed down the stairwell. I like this view better. I ran out of the house without looking back. I didn't care if he followed. I didn't care if anyone saw me. I drove to a hotel and stayed awake until sunrise. When I returned with the police, they found nothing. No footprints, no signs of forced entry, no neighbor, no movement. But in my bedroom, on the inside of the window, written in long, smudged fingerprints, was a message. "See you tonight." I moved out the same day. I never went back. I never looked behind me. But sometimes, late at night, I swear I feel eyes on me, watching, waiting, knowing. Because he wasn't a neighbor. He wasn't a man. And he didn't belong to that house. He belonged to me now, wherever I go. And every night, just before I fall asleep, I hear it. Tap, tap, tap.